Have you ever started a project with the full intention of finishing it, but you didn't? Why do people stop working on their games? How long should you take a break? And how can you find the time in your day to build your game? Hello, howdy, and good day, my fellow gamers and game devs. My name is Ricky, and I'm a first-time indie game developer working on my very first game, Cosmic Renegade. Welcome to Devlog number 9. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 things I learned from taking a break from my game. See, it's been about 3 months since I uploaded my last devlog. And after that one, I decided to revisit the Starship Combat part of my game again. And I got stuck. I sort of gave up because I didn't have the right feel for what I wanted the combat to be. And since I stopped working on my game, I decided to do other things that I enjoyed with my time. Things like playing video games, things like sparring more in boxing, things like going dancing on the school night, like overall just living the life of an absolute Giga Chad. But eventually I found my way back here, continuing to make my game and making videos for you guys. So what really happened? Why did I quit? And what got me back? Well, to answer the first question, that came up in a Dr. K video that popped up in my recommended one day. For those of you that don't know, Dr. K is a licensed psychiatrist from the channel Healthy Gamer that I watch from time to time. And in that video, he said, discipline is an emotion. And that doubt, or a wavering mind, is the opposite of discipline. And as soon as I learned that, I had to think to myself, okay, what exactly am I doubting? What do I doubt? Do I doubt myself or my abilities? Nah. But to be fair, I can see how a lot of indie game developers, especially those of us starting out, have a difficult time answering this question. Just know that if you've never built a game before, like I have, or if you don't have any programming skills, or if you're really bad at art, that's okay. I think the important thing is just keep working on it. After all, you're going to get much better. Much, much better. But if it's not your confidence that you doubt, it's probably the game itself, or at least your very lofty and inflated view of it in your head. And this is what got me. See, I wanted Cosmic Renegade to be my masterpiece. But this is my first game, and I kind of forgot to be realistic. So instead of telling myself that I was going to make a masterpiece, instead I just changed the words to a good game with a great story. And believe it or not, that actually worked. And that's because perfection is the enemy of progress. Or as I like to say, perfectionism is the enemy of a good enough. So far, we've learned that doubt is what actually causes us to stop working on our games, and it's caused by this immense pressure that we place on ourselves as artists to create life-changing experiences from our games when all it really has to be is a fun game. The second thing I discovered was how long our break should be. One of the things that I think is pretty common wisdom is that burnout can happen with anything, even something you love doing. But no one seems to talk about how you're actually supposed to handle it. Like, everyone's answer is just to take a break, or to get some sleep, or to love yourself, or to talk to a friend. And while all of these are good advice, I'm talking about an actual system you can rely on to pull yourself out of a rut 100% of the time. At least when it comes to game development. I'm talking about a personal, uplifting, burnout exit strategy, or PUBS for short. Wow, I really didn't think that one through. My pubes was me playing video games during my break, especially indie games similar to what I wanted to make. A lot of these games ended up inspiring me with interesting mechanics that I wanted to code up for my own game as soon as I could. The more I played, the more I wanted to get back to working on my game. This system worked for me, but what works for you might be different. Everyone's pubes is different. So lesson number 2 is that you need a system to pull you back in. Otherwise, your break might last forever. The last thing I want to talk about is how to find time to work on your game. For those of you that don't know, I have 3 jobs. I'm a full-time systems engineer, I'm a tennis instructor on the weekends, and I teach a nighttime kickboxing class. Despite all of my commitments, I never schedule anything. If you ask my family and friends, they'll tell you I don't have a calendar. I refuse to have one. If it's important, I'll remember it. If I don't remember, well, then it wasn't really that important, right? This is really bad advice for passwords, by the way. Not gonna lie about that. but it is good advice for time management. I trust me on that. Instead, I write a to-do list, usually a week in advance, with just 3 things per day of what I want to accomplish. And here's the secret. When you notice that game dev, or really anything that you're working on for that matter, is missing from your to-do list, add it back in. Notice I didn't say, add it to the list when you feel like it. I said, add it to the list when you notice it's been missing. That's a huge difference. This way, you're not depending on your motivation or your feelings or whatever to work on your game. No. You're depending on your pure ooga booga lizard brain telling you, hey, it's on the list, so you have to do it. It is what it is. This way, instead of dedicating yourself to working on your game daily or weekly or whatever it might be, that could cause you to burn out. And I found that with this system, I've only had to expend willpower when it's important. After all, willpower is like a muscle. If you exercise it too much, it's going to give out. So, that final lesson is that it's finally time to work on your game if you notice it's been missing from your to-do list. This helps you spend willpower sparingly, only when you need it, so that you don't overexert yourself and burn out. Hopefully, these 3 lessons are enough to get you back to working on your game this year. Please leave a comment if you found this video helpful, or if you're making a game in 2024. I'd love to check it out. Happy New Year, and see you in space, cowboys. Hey, what do you think of my new outfits? Pretty good, right? I can't wait to show you guys the new combat system. I'm pretty sure it's what I'm gonna roll with, but I have said that in the past. It's definitely more story focused, because a big problem with the combat in my earlier prototypes was that it was way too repetitive. It was just we fire, then they fire, then we fire, then they fire. I wanted something a little bit different, something different to happen, something unique in every single battle. And I think I figured out a way to do that that's not gonna be too difficult for me to do. After I'm done with it, I'll probably show it in the next video. By the way, please let me know if you want a tutorial for some of the other prototypes or what I'm making, like the turn-based system or like the ability system with the Unity coroutines. That took a while to actually do. That was a headache, and I'm more than willing to spare you guys of that headache if you're trying to make your own game. I just need you to ask, Just ask in the comments, hey, will you do a tutorial for us? And I'll do it. That way I can focus on my game, but I'm willing to spend a video or 2 if you need some help with it. Finally, on the topic of YouTube, I don't know how regular I'm going to be able to keep these videos. I think I'm going to follow my own advice and just work on a video when I feel like it, or when I feel like there's been enough progress in the game. Because I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't get a demo out there by I was hoping by like New Year's or like Christmas or New Year's, but the prototype that I had just didn't feel right, so that's why I'm holding back on it. But anyway, thank you for listening, and see you later, Gator.